All right, good morning. It is
Morning.
still morning. Thank you all for coming, even the people that have to be here, like Harry and Ben. But it actually means a lot for me for you guys to take time out of your day and come see me speak. Um, in my presentation, I'm going to talk a little bit about my faith journey, share a few stories from my life with you, and then also talk about what I plan to do in the future. So, my story all started in Colorado. February 24th, 1999, I was born in Denver. I've lived here my entire life, never moved to a different state, never had to live in 9 houses or anything like that. Um, I've essentially lived in one house my whole life. We had another house that I lived in until I was 1, but then we moved into my current house, and I've been there ever since. Um, and my neighborhood around that house is very supportive. We're a very tight-knit community, and that's one of the ways that I've been able to be influenced in my life. We have great family get-togethers. We all go skiing at one time. Um, the whole neighborhood goes up, and we have great barbecues together. And that is something that has been with me ever since I've been younger. And I think that that's something that's really helped shape who I am. Um, some specifics about me. So I started playing golf when I was about 4 years old. I started in the front yard with a little 2-foot long golf club, hitting the fake wiffle balls around the yard, having my dad go chase them. Or when we were doing landscape work in the backyard, we had a giant hole for where a tree would go, and my dad threw some golf balls in there like a sand trap, and I would hit him out, and he'd throw them back in, and I'd just do that over and over and over again. And turns out I got to be pretty good at golf at a pretty young age. Um, Golf has been a huge part of my life ever since I was 4. Obviously, I've been involved in camps. All of my grandparents have really supported me in that. My 2 grandpas basically taught me how to golf. Um, so thank you so much for that. Thank you so much to my parents for driving me to all those crazy events. I know that golf probably isn't the most interesting sport to watch, considering it takes almost a whole day. Then something else that really defines me is you all know that I'm literally obsessed with cars. So that started when I was 5 years old. It was at my 5th grade birthday party. That was the furthest thing back that I can remember. And it was a Hot Wheels themed birthday party. And my parents had set up like this racetrack that you went through. And when you finished the racetrack, you got your driver's license. So really, I've had my license since I was 5. So, and they had a whole bunch of tracks set up for the Hot Wheels and stuff like that. And that really sparked my interest in cars and everything that I do today. So I know a lot of you probably get really tired of me talking about cars 24/7 or even 25/7 because it literally never stops. But it's been a part of my life ever since the beginning. And I just thank my parents for helping me start in that area. And then I also started skiing when I was super young. We would go up and have family ski trips with the Norman side of my family, which is my dad's family side. And they've kind of helped shape me in the skiing aspect. And one of my family traditions is to ditch school on my birthday and go skiing every year. And that's really important to me. But besides golf and skiing, I used to actually play real sports like baseball and basketball. And I didn't do as well in those. Like I made 1 basket ever. It was pretty fun. 1 whole 2 points. Best on the team. But all of those things kind of helped shaped me into the person that I am today. And golf was definitely the defining subject. Golf was actually the way that I was able to meet people first at Valor. And that's what led me into kind of meeting this great community and having faith a little bit. And that started in 8th grade. And another thing that happened in 8th grade was my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's fine now. But that really started to spark my faith. And I really dedicated my heart to God at that time. And I started praying, and I went from basically having nothing to having a whole lot just because of her. I'm very emotional.
There are tissues underneath there.
Oh, there are. Wonderful. So that was kind of my thing going into Valor. I didn't have a lot of faith, and Valor was one of the places that I knew I could acquire something like that. So that was really the biggest thing for me coming here. And I'm really happy that I did. So freshman year started off little to no faith, but I kind of grew in that because of my mom. I knew a few people, Bray, who isn't here right now, Sydney. And then fun fact that actually only a few people know, Keegan was actually the first friend that I made at Valor. So between all of you guys, freshman year was really awesome. I killed it grade-wise. I got like a 3.9, I think, my freshman year. I played the drums. I was involved in Vespers and other things like that, which is where I met Christine. And that was all really great to be involved in. I loved it so much. Sophomore year came around, and I tried out for the golf team yet again, but I failed my tryouts really bad. Scotty Hofer and Zach Zerker, you probably remember that. So that was really upsetting for me in the beginning of sophomore year. I still continued to play, but it wasn't in the same position that I wanted it to be. But that's actually where I became best friends with Mark. That same year, I played drums again, and I continued to grow in my faith just by being more involved in church and other aspects of faith like that. That was the year that Sydney and me dated for the first time. But sophomore year was a huge growing year for me. I figured out something that I really love, which was chemistry, and that has kind of sparked a few of my life goals. And then also it's where I met Miss Hutch. Shout out to Miss Hutch for being the best teacher. Sorry, Mr. Stoner. I just got to say Hutch has always been so supportive, and I remember sophomore year, like Miss Hutch was the teacher to have if you were going to have a teacher of any kind. So I specifically requested, and I yelled at my counselor because he didn't put me in Miss Hutch's class, and then he put me in her class. So that was pretty great. Summer between sophomore and junior year, I worked at Chick-fil-A and also with Sydney. And that was very hectic, but it helped me grow a ton. You learn a lot of stuff like time management, where you're taking somebody's order and also trying to memorize someone else's things, and it's just a chaotic mess. And you have 12,000 people in one restaurant at one time. But it was a huge growing process. And then I also went on a phenomenal trip with my dad to Canada on a fishing trip. So it was me and my dad and around 18 other people, and we went up to Canada for a week and totally camped in the middle of nowhere. And it was the most growing I've ever done in a single span of a week, probably ever. There was this one lake that we went to where you could literally just put your lure in the water, lift it up, and there'd be a fish on the end of it. Like, you wouldn't even have to try. It wasn't even fishing. It was like, how many can I catch on one lure kind of thing. It was just crazy ridiculous. And I thank my dad so much for taking me on that. Junior year, I played golf again. I struggled really hard in school. I even missed like the first day of school because of golf. And from that moment on, I was behind. AP Physics, those of you that have taken AP Physics know it was not the greatest. But I got through that, and it was a struggle at the time, but it was something that I've overcome, and it's really part of, I don't know. That was also the year that I started photography seriously. Thanks to Bray, we kind of got into photography together. He was before me, and we began to grow in it, and I took photography as a class, and it was hugely influential with Brian Bond, who couldn't be here today. But that was one of the defining characteristics of my junior year. That summer between junior and senior year, I worked at a golf course just down the road. And I also had a bit of an incident with the law where I got a 30 over speeding ticket and almost got my license taken away. Don't speed. But that summer was hugely beneficial for what not to do in certain situations, like speed at 11:45 at night. And then also just all the fun times that I had with my friends. I forgot to mention like all the times that we hung out and things like that. And then also our cabin trips that are just literally like the defining moments in my life. And they're just amazing. So senior year came around and I played varsity on golf. And one of the biggest things that happened to me this year was I was actually able to go on a mission trip to St. Petersburg, Russia with Alex. And that was the coolest trip, hands down, by far, I'll probably ever have in my life. It was fantastic. From seeing the little orphans running around and just seeing how appreciative they are for anything, just like the small piggyback ride, 5 feet. They're like, yay, I love it. But they say that in Russian because they can't speak English. It was a huge culture shock to go to a Russian-speaking country because their alphabet is entirely different. And you can't read anything. So they have like the pi symbol. That's a letter. I don't know what it means, but it means something. That kind of thing has really helped shape me, and that also helped me grow closer to God by realizing what I should be thankful for, but then also seeing seeing blessings, even when we don't even notice it, they're still there. In the future, I am attending Creighton next year, and for the next 4 years. I'm going to be on the bio-pre-med track, and I hope to become an ophthalmologist one day in the future so that I can fix these or fix my colorblindness, because everyone in this room probably knows that I'm colorblind. I'm extremely excited to be starting college, even though it doesn't seem like it, or even though I'm not fully applying myself. I am super excited for it. And I really do care about all the effort that you guys have put into it. And I think I'll do my thank yous now. So, thank you to Mom. I'm going to take these off so I can't see it. Thank you to Mom for always being the family support, for helping everyone when they need it, or even like this morning when I couldn't get out of the house, but you were there to help me. So just thank you so much. Thank you, Dad, for always being the life of the party and being a huge influential person in my life. You are probably my greatest role model, and I love you. I love you too, Mom. Thank you, Riley, for always having a smile on your face, because even when I'm in the most sour mood ever, you still try to make me laugh, and you're just the best. And I don't say that a lot because you're my younger sister, but I love you too. Thank you to all the grandparents for investing so much in me, from golf to time to even showing up today. Thank you for bringing me back all those crazy souvenirs from different countries around the world. You guys have just been a huge support, and I love you. Thank you to Bray. He's not here, but you know you're loved, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you to Sydney for putting up with my nonsense. You're very supportive, and I love everything about you. I hope you do incredibly well at University of Alabama. To all my other friends, thank you so much for just being there for me and really shaping who I am and who I have come to be. Thank you.
Here we have some time for Q&A or any encouraging words that you would like to share with Dan.
You still owe me a Corvette.
I do still owe you a Corvette.
You should tell them the story.
What story?
Well, how that came about.
You know, I don't remember how.
Dan
I
does.
really don't. I don't think we have time for that story today.
The Cliff Note version. When Dan was young and starting to enjoy cars, he liked the Hot Wheels Corvettes. And he would tell Gramps, well, I'm gonna buy you one of these one day, and it's gonna have flames on it. So Gramps is gonna cash in.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh, and the Fords you are best. Fords are the best. How about that one? A toddler
Debatable.
sitting in the back of the car. Wasn't it with you and Drew
No,
in the car?
just us with
Oh,
Dan.
oh. Anyway, Dan thinks Fords are the best. We're very proud of him.
Thank you.
Dan, I have a word of encouragement from the young man that was in my class as a sophomore to the man who just delivered his senior presentation. It has been really fun watching him grow. If there is going to be one moment that encapsulates my time with you, it is when you brought your glasses to class. So he got the best birthday present ever, and he's standing in my room looking out the window. I was like, Dan, what are you doing? And he goes, have these colors always been like this? Dan, in one afternoon, because remember, we got nothing done in class that day.
Absolutely
Kept going,
nothing.
Dan, what color's that? What color's that?
Yeah.
Approach everything in your life with the same interest and fascination, right? Because if you do, you will accomplish great things, which all of us can anticipate is the path that you have ahead of you. So thank you for sharing yourself with us, because you've richly blessed all the people that have gone to know.
Thank you.
Keep your tips up and your head down.
That's right.
Thank you for all the stuff that, or I guess all your time that you've invested in planning cabin trips and planning group outings and stuff. And thanks for parking my car for me so many times. But really, you're gonna do awesome things, and I'm so lucky to have you as a friend.
Dan, on behalf of Ray, I know he wishes he could be here today rather than taking an AP test. But I know he thinks of you as a brother, as an only child. That's a big deal for him. So you've been a blessing to our family, and your family is just, you and your family are all just the greatest. So thank you for all the times going back to preschool, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for looking like
You're welcome.
favorite cabin trip ever.
Ooh.
Wait, what are these cabin trips? Sorry.
There's like 6 of us who go out on a cabin trip almost every year. Since sophomore year was our first one. And we just go out to either Jamie's cabin or Ray's cabin. And we just go out and hang out and do a bunch of different things.
Good. Just sound like a horror story waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Wanna
Basically,
clarify.
cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
My favorite cabin trip memory was probably just the first cabin trip. When we went down to the falls for the first time, there's like this little pool of freezing cold water. And that was basically when I started to really get to know everyone, because I wasn't super good friends with everyone in the group at that time. But when we all jumped in the near freezing water, I knew that those were my people. So that was probably my favorite moment.
I bring greetings from Papa, who was called to help his brother this morning, but you know how proud he is of you. And he would contest that you started playing golf at 4. You actually started at about 9 months when he brought the first golf club back from Disney World.
Yes, Papa has been a huge help in that area. And I still have that golf club. It's hanging, or it's in the box downstairs of all my childhood memories. So tell Papa I say hi.
Which was most embarrassing moment?
I knew that was going to happen.
I thought it was gonna happen soon.
I thought it was too. So it was the first day, freshman year. My mom remembers this. All of the students, all the seniors were out saying hi to everyone. And I was that little tiny freshman, even smaller than I am now. And I was so scared to even get out of the car. And when I finally did, I bolted out of the car, didn't even like say bye to my mom. And the first class that I went to was a senior class on accident. And I walked in and they were just like, what's this small thing doing here? It was just the weirdest look on all of their faces. And it took me like 20 more minutes to even find my class, because if you notice, the numbers in this school are all jacked up. And that was probably the most embarrassing moment, starting off on the first day of high school. So.
Hey Dan, the teachers don't even know where the room are.
I-
I'm serious, I've been here 9 years, I don't even know.
Whoever numbered this school.
Oh, has something to do with the fire department.
They keep saying that. I don't believe it.
There's like no actual votes.
I asked, all right, good job. Now it's tradition, we're gonna get up and surround Dan.